In this episode, you find out what happens when the shit hits the fan. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? My name is Michael Sahno, and welcome to the Sea and Land Fitness Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by, of course, Sea and Land Fitness. You like that stumble right there? Head on over to www.sandlfit, and you can pick up hats, you can pick up shirts, you can pick up all that kind of stuff. Help support the Honey Badger Nation, and help support me as I come and I bring this stuff to you. So we'll talk more about that at the end. But one of the things that I've been neglecting to say that I should be saying is, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe bell. And if you are not, just be aware that whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on, if it's not your preferred, we're all over the place. You can find us on Spotify, on Google Play. I think it's Google something. I'll have the thing up there. Amazon, iTunes, and wherever your podcasts you like to listen to your podcast. So as you're watching this, you'll see in the bottom there will be a little texty thing telling you exactly where you can go and check us out. It's also at the end. If you're watching, if you're listening, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. If you're listening, you won't, and I'm sorry. But the next time I'll have it better prepared. Speaking of preparedness, that is the subject of this episode. So let me take a sip of coffee. Peter Madeira, this coffee's for you. And this has been one of the craziest, and it would be easy to say one of the worst weeks, but it hasn't. It really hasn't. It's been one of the craziest and probably most expensive weeks in a long time. But the reason I want to bring all this up is because I want to talk to you about resilience. I want to talk to you about the decisions that we make when we are literally in the face of adversity. What do we do? So I didn't have a podcast last week. I just barely got my assignment in for my last class, for my master's. As most of you know, I passed my comprehensive exams, and on the 11th of August, I graduate from the University of Florida. Go Gators. And I've been just in a crunch time-wise, making sure I've got everything done. I've also been, rearranging the studio / room that we do this podcast in. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see in the back I got a couple Dolphins helmets as gifts, and the baseball gloves at the top of the shelf in the back. I removed some guitars and put that shelf up. Those baseball gloves are going to become very important to the story I'm about to tell you. So if you've been following the news, the Northeast. So I attend the University of Florida virtually. I do my master's program online, but I'm across the river from West Point, up in New York, across the river from the USMA. And it's beautiful here, and the weather's pretty great. We have some beautiful mountains, but every once in a while we get hit with some bad weather. We'll get severe snowstorms, some tornadoes and stuff like that. But since we live in a holler, what's a holler? It's like a small valley above, below this enormous reservoir called in Fonstock State Park, and 2 reservoirs below that, but above me, we can have flooding. It doesn't normally happen, but this time we got so much rain in such a short time that they did a state of emergency. West Point was flooded. A woman passed away, God rest her soul. But luckily we didn't lose power, which was amazing. But we did lose our air conditioner. And that was horrible. That was the worst. We had the gentleman from Robeson and Trisha from Robeson, who's in the office, all helped us out, and they got over real quick, and they did an assessment, but they had to order parts. So we were going to be without our air conditioner until those parts came in. It was horrid. It was in the 90s inside the house, and it was really sticky, humid. It rained on and off throughout the week, and it felt like we never got any relief. So I have all this stuff I got to get done. And I have to do it in like Vietnam jungle heat. So it was the worst. But we did some things that I feel made it manageable and not a total dumpster fire. So sure, was it difficult getting to sleep at night? Oh, it was bad. But it was manageable. Now, how did I manage this? What did I do? Now, normally what happens is something horrible happens. How do we all react? We go, oh, this is the worst thing that ever happened. I can't believe this happened. There's no way we're going to get through this. And we get angry, and we ruminate, and we fester, and we get angry, and we allow our mood to just devolve into this primal chaos that has everyone in the family just yelling at each other. I'm going to have another sip of coffee. Hold on. So he came to visit. The Robeson guy came to visit, said that the circuit board was fried and a couple of other things were below the water line in our basement, and they needed to be replaced. So the first thing I did, I think I did this even before he came, I bought 2 of those big Honeywell fans. Those, I think they're called Turbo Force or something, because I wanted to get airflow moving. Even if it wasn't going to be cool, it was going to have, this is where my physiology comes in. It was going to have some evaporative effect. Sure, we'd have to listen to the television at like 120, but whatever. At least we're not steaming, and that steam that's in the house is leaving the house. So I got those. Those actually came within a day, and they came the day. So the storm happened. I ordered the fans that night. The guy came over either the next day or the day after that, and the fans arrived the day he came. So we were able to get like some relief. We opened up all the windows. I brought all the fans in from the garage because I prepare for things like this. And I made the decision that this wasn't going to be the worst thing that could happen, that we would survive this, because 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, people had to deal with this kind of thing. People had to deal with this type of adversity, heat. I made a decision that this wasn't going to kill us. So it's actually funny because I've had this conversation with a couple of different people about, you know, the forest fires that are going on up in Canada, and our governor Hochul has said, and this is not to be political, this is just literally how my mind works, Governor Hochul said, "Oh, the air quality is horrible. This is going to be the worst thing. We're going to have to mask up. Don't go outside." And my immediate thought, and I don't know if this is because when I was growing up, I was born in Dallas, but my mom remarried, and then we moved to Connecticut. And in Connecticut, they have all these historical things that you go on so many field trips in elementary and middle school to all these different Revolutionary War things. And you see these homes, this old prison, all this stuff. And the first thing I thought of when she was freaking out about these fires is, well, what did people do 100 years ago? What did people do 200 years ago? There were literally wood-burning fireplaces in every single home. 1700s, 1800s, 1600s, going back through history. There was smoke inhalation to some degree in every household. I mean, it's kind of a little ridiculous. But anyways, it's this inability to see past the immediate and now. And that's what this decision that I was telling you about was focused on. It's seeing past the immediate calamity of the air conditioner dying and saying, okay, what can we do to resolve this? How can we fix this? Acting as if it's the first hot day of the year and we haven't done the stuff on the air conditioner to get it running. We don't have a new filter. We didn't clean out the dust or anything like that. So the air conditioner is going to have to come on tomorrow. Sorry. Everyone's just going to have to turn on fans. That's kind of how I looked at it. But I also did a bunch of other things. So my wife and I think we drove up to the mall about 100 times. No, like just about every other day, though, we drove up to the mall because the mall had air conditioning. Going to the mall was actually really great because there's a Dick's Sporting Goods. And I don't know if you look around in the background, if you're watching this on YouTube, there is a ton of stuff in my house from Dick's Sporting Goods. I think, are these shirts? No, these shirts are not from Dick's Sporting Goods. Well, no, that sweatshirt in the back, the baseball bat in the back, the volleyball that's in the back, all of those are from Dick's Sporting Goods. Those gloves up there on the top shelf, they're from Dick's Sporting Goods. Hold on. Another sip of coffee. I'm really yammering, so what happens is my mouth and throat dry out, so I got to drink a little bit of coffee. So we would go into Dick's. I think either I bought it before it happened, but really wound up using it. Yes, I did. I bought it after my comprehensive exams. My wife actually bought it for me. That big first baseman's glove that's up on the top shelf. And next to it is a fielder's glove that I bought for my son. I have bought so much that glove up there, the first baseman one, I think was $139. But the fielder's glove was the same price. And I got $50 off because we've just bought so much stuff from Dick's Sporting Goods. We had a coupon. And it was a couple of days before, so I had bought this glove, and my immediate thought was to go out into the backyard to the barn and throw a tennis ball against the wall for like an hour, doing pop flies off the top of the wall, just to get out of the house and be doing something and not have the sweltering of sitting inside that house affect my mood. I wanted to really get myself out of the morass, the basically crappy feeling of, oh, woe is me. So I went out and did stuff. So also on these trips, while the house was, 90 something degrees, I picked up that wood bat. I bought a professional tee. I bought 3 bags of those, those practice wiffle balls, the practice baseballs. I got, I think, 36 of them. I bought 3 bags and dumped them all in this big Dick's Sporting Goods bucket. This is turning into an ad for Dick's Sporting Goods. Not intended to. But I wound up, that same barn wall, wound up hitting baseballs against the barn. That's another good half hour, 45 minutes, depending on how many iterations I did. But my point is, I got hit with this dilemma, this problem, this issue. And I had to really attack this issue, and I had to ask myself, who's going to win? Is the issue going to win, or am I going to win? I know it's going to get fixed, but am I going to be the one that suffers through this, or am I going to use this as a time to get other things done? Am I going to use this as downtime, forced downtime, and grumble? I don't want to, sit in the house and it's so hot, blah, 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 blah. Or am I going to wait and go through the hottest part of the day and spend it outside, like a kid in summer, and just be outside, be productive while I'm outside, be active while I'm outside? I was kind of kicking myself because I don't know if some of you listen regularly, you'll know that I go to the pool. I think I went to the pool once. I should have been going every single day. But again, maybe I had succumbed to a little bit of that crappy feeling. But overall, I did my best and I pushed myself through it. And earlier this week, I think it was on Wednesday, Carlos from Robeson came and fixed my air conditioner. And you want to know what I did that very night, even though the house was cool? I went outside. I hit some baseballs. I threw some baseballs against the barn and caught some fielders, some pop flies. And last night, I worked out. I work out outside in my garage, and it's hot. So why is that important? That's very important because one of the things that I was talking to my wife about was how I love to work out outside, even in the sweltering heat. I'm smart about it. I got this big, enormous Gatorade jug that is my it's my lifesaver. I use those what do you call them, those little Gatorade drink packs, 2 of them in there, and I'm good. But I like working out in the heat. But in order to work out into the heat, I need somewhere to come into, okay, that's cool, that cools me down. Otherwise, I'll just wind up overheating. I didn't do that when the air conditioning was out. But as soon as the air conditioning was fixed, I got myself right back into it. And as soon as the air conditioning was fixed, I continued that positive behavior that I had established when the air conditioning was out. This is a very convoluted sightseeing path to get to the main point. And the main point is that no matter what happens, there are going to be diversions. There are going to be things that take you off of the path, okay? And you're going to have to redirect, pivot, take a different stance because the stance that you're taking right now isn't going to work. And I am incredibly lucky and incredibly blessed that I was able to get through the air conditioning being out and it being horrifically hot and getting my wife and my son outside to do stuff. We even went to a Hudson Valley Renegades game. I am a diehard Yankee fan. So that was huge for me. And that was huge for me, not only because I'm a diehard Yankee fan, and because we got ourselves out and sat in the ballpark, because if you're going to sit in the heat, you might as well watch a baseball game. That was also a very huge step for me, because prior to my eye surgery, getting my cataracts and both my eyes fixed, I wouldn't drive to night games because of the anxiety of driving at night. And I had a milestone. This whole thing was a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? I've been telling my wife, too. I told her today, and she went, fat chance, guy. I don't know. I may have a shot. And I talked to Dr. Harrison and told him about the baseball hitting from the tee as well. And he said, I don't know, is this your comeback year? And Yankees, if someone's listening with the organization, you got a designated hitter right now. All right. Number 17, Michael Sahno. All right. Hey, that's pretty much it. That's all I got for you. I wanted to tell you guys where I'd been, why I took last week off, and that last week off wasn't planned. And I wanted to let you guys know about everything that had happened and how I got through it. Hopefully with the intention of you guys getting yourself through those kind of things. Like when your car breaks down and you're like, what am I going to do? And just finding that little Garden of Eden where you can just breathe for a minute. And my Garden of Eden is the backyard and sitting on those chairs next to the garage and hitting baseballs and catching pop-up flies. But again, that's all I got for you guys. As I said in the beginning, this podcast is brought to you by Sea and Land Fitness, as I hiccup through that. Brought to you by Sea and Land Fitness. Head on over to www.sandlfit.com and pick up your merchandise there. Also, if you need some coaching, performance coaching, let me know. I can help you out. There are rates on there for that. And also we have our tier 3 fitness program up there. So check it out. As I said again, and hopefully this one will be cleaner. This is the second thing I said in the beginning. You can find us on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Amazon. I think they got rid of the Google thing. Oh well. All right. Talk to you soon. Later.